Is it possible that Myanmar could be divided by the oil and gas pipeline, in that there's 20 odd ethnic armed organisations and the People Defence Force units which are fighting the military? They're not always on board with each other. If there was a victory by the anti-regime forces, could the oil and gas pipeline divide them in terms of what they want out of Myanmar after the civil conflict?
The greatest dividing issue between the various resistance forces is that the most dominant ones in the military effort are very much ethnic based, and their primary focus is on liberating their ethnic people.
Right.
And so there isn't much pulling them together to reform some sort of federated republic. Everybody, or virtually all of the ethnic armed groups, say that is something they are open to. But there's no consensus at this point on what that federal republic would look like.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good chance, actually I think the highest probability coming out of this, is that as each ethnic armed group attains sufficient control of the territory that they consider their homeland, that they will form their own governments. And they're already in the process of setting those up.
Mm-hmm.
So that you will have an Arakan state, you'll have a Chin state, you'll have a Kachin state, a Karen state, a Karenni state. Shan is problematic because it's so diverse. It'll probably break up into several different states. And they will form their governments. And then the serious discussion about can they unite under a new Burma, a new Myanmar, or will they stay autonomous states at some level? And there are groups like the National Unity Government that are pushing to maintain the unity of the various ethnic states that have historically formed Burma, but it's not clear to me that how that's going to be done. It's not going to be under the auspices of the NUG, as far as I can tell, nor under what the National Unity Government thinks is some sort of current accord on what that looks like. China can still work with the separate autonomous states if that's necessary.
Yep.
Because China tends to be quite pragmatic on such things. So if the junta falls, they'll go to Plan B and talk to the Arakan army about how to keep the pipeline working in the section that's in Rakhine state, and so to progressively across the country get the new governments to agree that the pipeline can continue to operate.